Welcome back to Dicing with Death. Garrig, you stand accused of burning down the Wendelin estate and robbing one of the local lords called the Rendil estate. How do you plead?
I look up at the Baroness, conjuring my most sympathetic face, smirking my handsome smirk. Annabelle Redshield burned down the Wendelin estate and murdered all of those nobles. And I was there that night. I suspect I am the only surviving witness to the Red Shield's return and the reveal of her true nature. I step towards the throne. The woman.
As you take a step towards the throne, the guards on the sides kind of take their spears from shoulder and like put them halfway down, like a 45-degree angle out towards you.
I am unfazed, and I take a few more steps closer, although not within spear stabbing reach.
Okay, but the spears then, if you take continued step, those spears are levied at you.
Okay, that's fine. So this is like happening as I'm walking forwards and finishing what I have to say. And my hand goes up to my collar, to my robe, revealing her true nature. The woman is woman no more. Annabelle Redshield is vampire, and I go to show the bite mark on my neck.
Okay. The Baroness kind of leans forward to get a better view.
They're actually almost healed. They're just barely, yeah. I mean, there's still an open wound, but only 1 HP of an open wound.
Okay. She motions to her knight, who comes down and gets a real good look. The old man pulls aside your collar and comes in looking closely at it.
Mm-hmm. Is this the wizard
or no, this is the old knight?
Okay.
The 80-something-year-old guy, maybe 90-something now.
I suspect the witch is responsible for whatever other crimes you listed there, though I am not familiar with these matters. I say this as the knight's looking me down.
He lets go of your clothes and walks backwards up the steps.
I can attest to the ferocity of this beast, and must warn you to take extreme caution. I think alerting your citizens would be unwise and may cause panic, if I may be so bold. But those of us in this room, and I look around to address not just the lady now, but all the men-at-arms, would do well to be careful, especially after dark.
You are not the only survivor of the fire.
This is
one noble
news, I suppose.
Survived. Somehow made her way to town in a state of shock and horror. Relayed her story that Ark Carl of Misty Rapids arrived, invisible, at the estate, magically locked the doors, and set fire to the whole place. She escaped by hiding under bodies until you fled and made her way out through the burned exit that you left when you fired one of your lightning bolts through the wall.
This woman is no doubt charmed. I myself fell victim to Lady Annabelle's magic gaze for a time. It was her own bite that shook me out of it.
Are you familiar with the great philosopher Occam?
Why, yes, I cite his work often.
Yes. What is more likely, that the treacherous and known evil wizard, suspected of many dark crimes, including harboring the phylactery of a lich, burned down the Wendelin estate for his own ill-gotten gains, and robbed the Rendels, or that a vampire came through to kill these people and you just happened to be there coincidentally.
Your witness bore no mention to Lady Redshield?
Not a single one.
And she is without a doubt charmed. I look to the mage. Do you perhaps have have incantations that can divine such matters? Detecting charm, or at least the magic residues?
He does not speak up. But the Baroness makes a gesturing motion with her hand, and a door opens, and in comes a noble whose head is slightly bowed. You suspect he's noble because of his manner of dress.
Do I recognize the man? I look over.
Yes, you do.
Mm-hmm.
He is the guy who you helped to rob the Rendell estate. He is in shackles and chains. And the Baroness says to him, "Tell him what you told me." Or say again what you've told me. And his head still bowed. He says, my friend and I were planning on robbing the Rendell estate when a mysterious man in black robes arrived. He did something to the both of us. My friend didn't wake. And then he magicked me into another room in the Rendell estate. And with his magic found the treasure buried underneath the boards. The Rendellin property. And then we climbed out the window.
Excuse me. Milady, what is this? I point to what is he babbling about? This man does not look like he escaped any fire.
No fire. The Rendell estate. I never got a good look at his face, but he wore robes like that, dark robes. He had his hood up, so I couldn't see him.
Yeah, I stared. I turned to look from the Baroness to the sky. Will he meet my gaze?
No, his head is bowed.
No. Yeah. Okay. He looked up and pointed at me though.
Yeah.
And so at that I looked back to him.
Just keep his head bowed. Thank you very much. She dismisses him, and another man walks in. This is a proud, kind of middle-aged man. He looks about the room, spots you, and shakes his head. You don't recognize this guy at all.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Lady Ridgeshell says, "Speak your piece." And he says, "Well, it was last night. I was having a drink down at the tavern when a distraught but beautiful young lady came in to the Crown Rose. She said that the Wendelin estate had been attacked, that a man screeching to the sky, calling himself Ark Carl of Misty Rapids, burned the place down with menacing laughter in his voice. And
when was this? I interrupt the man. It sounds like he's seen something useful, actually.
And she said that he happily watched as the people suffered, and those that tried to escape, he shot down with magic. He sent forth from his fingers.
This woman, what did she look like?
One of the most beautiful women I have ever seen in my life, and such a tragedy to see her suffer such a fate.
To the wizard and the Baroness. You saw Annabelle Redshield. When? Here in Rainwood?
I don't think this woman was Annabelle Redshield, although I must admit I've never seen her in my life, but she was in the Crown Rose, this woman, last night. The survivor of your menacing attack.
Would a detect magic detect a charm? Does a charm spell remain as like if you're enchanted, is that something that is...
No, you don't get an aura of magic about you.
Yes. But true seeing might reveal that.
Ooh. Maybe.
Yeah.
True Seeing's a badass spell.
Oh, it's like level 7 or something like that. Yeah,
Five?
it's certainly
6? Something.
yeah. This amulet's pretty OP.
Spell penetrates. See
So-
things as they actually are. Illusions, apparitions are seen through. Polymorph, changed, or enchanted things are apparent.
Enchanted.
Yes.
Enchanted. All right. So with regards to the Georg thinks this whole thing is kind of a farce and doesn't really recognize the authority of this court. I'm only going through the motions because if they find me guilty, then the ranger and the whatever are forfeit, or at least probably won't complete the mission with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of need their help. Well, maybe. Okay. I do reach up and I don't remember what the conversation was, but I will activate the True Seeing on my amulet. I don't pull the amulet out for all to see, like under my robes, but it's just touching my bare chest, so I can activate.
You can just hold it.
Hand. Do I need to use a hand?
You do.
Okay. And I would need to slip that under the robe. Can I touch it through the robe?
I think you'll have to like slip a hand into your robes. You got like a.
Okay. I mean, I'd already shown my neck, so anxiously I will like have to slide my hand around my collar, and my eyes turn a deep purple.
The old man draws his sword at this, but the mage holds up a hand.
Wait, the old man, the witness had a sword?
No. The old man being the captain of the guard.
Okay.
Who had it drawn. Like, the spearmen are all weapons facing you, ready to attack at a moment's notice. Now the captain of the guard draws his sword, but the wizard holds up his hand and says, Hold. This is normal.
So I'm just like, I'm ignoring all of this, staring down the witness and...
Who looks taken aback by this change in your eyes. Bright purple. Deep purple.
And I look deep into his soul to see things as they truly are, as they actually are.
He is certainly
enchanted?
overcome with a charm spell currently.
He is charmed.
Absolutely.
Yeah. This man is charmed by the vampire Red Shield. And I like approach him and I think I'm just like, I don't know. I'm like looking, it's probably super distracting to have a True Seeing spell. I'm like taking in all of like the altered perceptions.
It's like being on mushrooms and acid at the same time.
Yes, you
Whatever
see things as they actually are.
With the like weird effects, and you see things, you're like, "Whoa, this is disorienting." I hope.
So I'm feeling out the nature of the charm. Is there anything else in the room that immediately sticks out to me? Because I don't think it's like each round you get the range is 120. I mean, so I think if there's like secret doors or other charmed people in the room. I don't know. So let me know if there's any other.
There are no other charmed people in the room. You notice the very old man is carrying a magical weapon, the captain of the guard.
Displaced things, invisible, secret doors.
No, there are no secret doors, although the shadowy doors become a lot more apparent, like the things that are in the background that you can't quite see in the poor light are vibrant and bright to you.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, the only hidden thing is the enchantment on this man.
Yeah. Okay. So I think the last thing that was said was this man is charmed by the vampire.
Right. The man said, I'm... That's preposterous. The only thing I might be charmed by was that young, beautiful lady that I spoke to, but she was no vampire.
Beautiful? The most beautiful woman you've ever seen, wasn't she? The most beautiful woman you have ever imagined.
How dare you suggest that a woman
to walk the face of this earth?
How dare you suggest that just because she was beautiful, she was a vampire? That's preposterous.
I have seen it too. I'm like looking the guy in the eyes. My eyes are like crazy purple, and I'm like, yeah. I have seen the abyss of her gaze.
That's the equivalent of saying an ugly woman is an evil woman. To say that she is beautiful to say is the same as being a vampire is insane. How dare you hold her accountable for such things?
No. He didn't seem strucken by my like he wasn't like she was the most beautiful woman I've ever seen.
He seems more defensive.
Yeah. I'm like, tell me, would you count this stranger among your closest friends? I slide Steel Trucier's ring on.
Okay.
And yeah.
I would say she is a poor woman who's been devastated by loss and needs the protection of other people. I would care for her. I would risk my life for her. But only because people like you have trampled her. You're the monster here.
Where is she now? It sounds like she is the real witness. At this, I'll look back up to the Baroness, and then back to the guy. Did she give you her name?
She did not. She said she was weary. I took her back, put her up in an inn, and she vanished. I went downstairs to pay the innkeeper, and by the time I went back up, she was gone. I don't know where she went.
How many hours ago?
This was last night.
It's night now. Okay, so it would have been like the middle of the night. We've had to go to ground. I think Eric's like mumbling to himself at this point. Having maybe utterly derailed I don't know what's going on with the court case, but Georg is unconcerned. I remove Steel Trucier's ring and drop it back in a pocket.
Okay.
I don't want to get caught with that on during a further interrogation.
Mm-hmm. He looks
he
looks frustrated and looks to the other people. Surely you're not listening to this madman. He's the one who burned the state. How could you possibly? What?
This man. I thank you for your information. This man is spouting bad rumors, and his mind is deeply clouded. It may be many weeks before he recovers, unless you have something for him. I say, looking to the wizard. For his own safety and the safety of the town, well, I deign not make suggestions in your house, milady. Can we wrap up?
The wizard leans in and whispers something to the Baroness.
I can't unactivate True Seeing, right? My eyes are just going to be freaky purple for the rest of the
For
encounter.
a while now, yeah.
1 round per level. It's cast at like level...
plus 7 levels, was it?
Plus 5, I think.
Okay.
So it'll be like 12 minutes.
Okay. The Baroness nods and turns to one of the servants and says, "Summon Father Rex Dean. We have need of his services." And the servant takes off to go summon Father Rex Dean. The hall goes eerily quiet. The man who was talking about the witness from the estate is dismissed.
What did he said the name of his hotel? It was the
Crown Rose was the tavern that he stayed at. He took her to.
Okay, the Crown, and that's the nice inn that's where I met the first witness, right? The robber.
But it's a tavern. It's not actually an inn.
Okay. He didn't say the name of the inn. If he didn't, then I'll be shouting to him as he's leaving as he's being escorted out.
He doesn't respond.
So he didn't say the name of the inn, and he
did say he met her at the Crown Rose. He took her to an inn.
An inn. I guess it doesn't matter if she flew out the window or whatever. Although that narrows down the timeline. Yeah, I'm like shouting out as he's being brought off and changed. What inn did you take her to?
He doesn't respond. He leaves the room.
He's like whatever. She can be moving. It's already past dark, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm like, is there a window in this room?
No.
Okay. Okay.
The Baroness clears her throat and says, Carl, you
Oh,
have
yes. I like
many charges levied against you. Do you stand by your position that all this was done by a vampire?
Yes, milady. That's the whole reason I stand before you today. Although I suppose, yeah, yes, to bring you news.
Countess Castilian is a wise woman. I have heard what your accomplices have said. And after hearing your words and hearing the words of my men, I think you are fit to stand and wait before further evidence. Men, stand down. Put your spears. The men tentatively.
I think I'm no longer threatening.
weapons.
I think they probably still have their spears down, but I think I backed away from them and ran manically towards the witnesses. So I was probably not like threatening them at this point. But yeah,
I am summoning the High Cleric here so that he might discern whether or not you are telling the truth about this man's enchantment. My wizard tells me that a dispel magic spell ought to clear the enchantment from him. If that is the case, his story should change, and we will see that you have the truth of things.
good. And
However,
this poor man's soul may yet be saved.
should he prove to be telling the truth already, well, we'll just have to see then.
It is dark. I don't know where the woman has gone to ground, but she is free to move about now.
Some 10 minutes later, you guys are all kept in this chamber waiting for the high priest to show up. He arrives in kind of just like hastily donned attire, and he comes stumbling into the room, looking about. He walks up to the Baroness, whispers in her ear, they confer for a moment, and the man is brought back out, the supposed charmed victim of the vampire. The priest takes an unhappy look and goes, I don't know why I'm doing this. I really wish you would tell me, Baroness. You can trust me with these things, surely. And she waves him off, and he goes about casting Dispel Magic on him. How does a Dispel Magic affect this?
They may need to roll there may be like opposed based on the level of the spellcaster. Oh, it's a.
If or if a Dispel Magic is successfully cast against the charmed person. Okay.
So successful via the spell magic. I think there may be like opposed saves based on the level of the two casters usually.
Yeah.
But if it's just a charm, it's like it's not a spell; it's an innate ability.
Note the spell, if successful, will release charmed and similarly beguiled creatures. Okay. So, the base chance is 11 or higher on a d20. The caster, then for each level difference, it's a +1 or -1.
Each effect or potion in the spell's area is checked. Yeah, so I backed the fuck away from the priest while I was doing this. Then if the caster's higher level than the creator, then So you assume you've got some sort of caster level for the vampire. And then I'm still. Has it been less than 12 minutes or whatever?
No, it's been more than that.
Okay.
Your eyes are gone. The dispel magic goes off, and the man starts to clutch his head and
This is all in public in the courtroom.
and shakes it, kind of like wipes his eyes, like, oh god, what the? And looks around. Goes, that. I feel as if a fog has been lifted from my mind.
I'm looking up to the count or to the Baroness.
She asks him specifically, "Tell me of the woman, the survivor from the fire." He goes, a middle-aged woman, absolutely beautiful. She seemed, her voice seemed soothingly calm despite her panicked story. I didn't. I'm a little embarrassed. I believed her right out of hand without asking any questions.
What did she ask you to do?
She told me that to warn the people of Ark Karl's vengeance and plans to ruin the noble families and to destroy the things around here. She told me specifically to warn the Baroness here and the others, and to warn Countess Castilian about Ark Karl and his pyromancing dangers. I took her to the riverside, which is the place not fit for a lady, but there was no other place at the time, and my wife certainly wouldn't have me bringing back a woman looking like that to our place. And then she was gone. I don't know how she got out of there, unless she climbed through a window. Don't know why she would do that.
I look to the lady, or to the Baroness. I have presented myself before you, and I believe this supports my versions of the story.
She nods.
As I said, it is past dark, and this vampire is free to move as she pleases. Time is of the essence.
She makes a motion. The doors open, and the sheriff and ranger join you.
If I could have caught myself, I wouldn't have mentioned vampire until the guy was taken out of the room. But
these things happen. The other servants in the room had heard these things. The high priest, hearing vampire, is surprised. The sheriff and ranger join you from the other room.
Okay.
You notice the sheriff is he's got an actual like bottle of wine in his hand, not just like a cup, but a full-fledged bottle.
I shoo it away from him. I think I grab. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, he's a grown-ass man. He's got a bottle of wine and he's not taking it.
Yeah, in the throne room of the Baroness.
Yes.
That's.
So
I'm trying to work on my etiquette proficiency over here. That's not appropriate.
Now that all three of you are gathered, the Baroness says, "So, there is a vampire in our town, or was as of last night. I know anything about these creatures. This would be their hour."
Yes, she is probably... Sunset was what, 3 hours ago?
Yes.
She is probably had time to mobilize down by the river, rubbing my temples. Perhaps she did come. Perhaps her ground is. Perhaps she did come by boat. I say to the sheriff and the ranger now that I'm back with them.
The sheriff asks the Baroness, "Where does the river lead?" And she says, "The river starts north of here, just a few miles, heads down to Thornwood, and then out by Shirebrook. We were at the start of it."
Do your docks keep records of who comes and goes?
No one travels by river here. Occasionally a boat down to Thornwood, but we do not have transportation by ship. The river is too treacherous.
Sorry, let me fill you. You see, vampires must go to ground at night. They
During the day?
sunlight. Yeah, during the day, the sunlight is lethal to them. If she is here during the day, it must mean she's has her burial ground somewhere near here. And if not, which we suspect that she was turned somewhere to the north. She would have had to bring this ground with her, likely in the form of a coffin and some dirt. A large, obvious thing. Is there anywhere, perhaps in the hills, in the outskirts of town? Frustrating. Yeah, she can't cross running water, can she? Yeah.
Maybe. The high priest said she can't.
Yeah. I had thought about doing a water breathing and trying to grab her and dimension door her into a river, but I figured that would... Yeah. Unlikely to set up with that close to running water, but we'll see. I guess I don't even need the water breathing.
This is her hour, then. What will you do, Ark Carl? How will you find her?
I think it would be unwise to leave the safety of the city by night. I would not want her to catch us on open ground during her time. But we should investigate the waterfront, see if anyone saw her. If it's the first time she's been seen at that inn.
There were other men who had the same story as our poor beguiled friend here. He was not the only one that came with a report of a scared woman running through town that night.
It appears she's charmed many.
How will you hunt her?
So she came to town. Where did these reports come from? Did you take the men's names, locations? Do we have a map of the city?
We can find them if we need.
I can... If I can get close, perhaps I can locate her coffin. If... Maybe her.
How?
But...
Do you have spells?
Yes. Yes. Locate object does need to be kind of specific. How good of a look did I get at her dress, or did she have any jewelry?
Give me an intelligence check to see if you can remember what her dress looks like.
Or did she have distinctive jewelry? Would probably be better, but...
Oh yeah, you recall she had a very distinctive white gown on.
Okay.
And she had a purple fur coat.
Okay. But my range is 140 yards.
Sorry.
So I need to get close.
A violet cloak trimmed in lavender fur.
Luxurious. But I don't need to be close. Perhaps 100 yards. if these reports seem to center from a certain part of the city, perhaps we can pinpoint, or when was the latest one?
All from that night. Go to the river bottom. Ask
Yes.
the innkeeper there if he saw anything.
Yes, I will keep you apprised. You two can rest up or
They
attend
shake
if you
their
like.
heads. We're coming with you.
All right. And we head to the river bottom.
Okay. I'm sorry, not the river view. That's the soggy bottom and the river view. My mistake. The river view is where what's his name
All right.
took her.
On the way there, I need to find a forked twig, maybe two if I can. So I'm on the lookout for appropriate sticks to douse locate object.
Very easy to find. You find
Yeah,
one.
I think it disappears, so I just collect a couple of twigs.
You guys make it to the river view later. It is a kind of crappy podunk little inn. It's actually the one that you stayed at before that used to have a view of the river, but it doesn't anymore because the crown rose was put up and blocks its view of the river now.
The other inn is like across the street and it blocks the view.
No, the crowd. It's the tavern.
tavern.
Across the
Yeah,
street,
yeah. Okay.
So the river view no longer has the view of the river. And the innkeeper on hand is really tired. It's like, welcome, my lords, welcome. If you're in quite late, you must need a room.
No, actually, just information. I slide a gold coin across the table.
Oh, yes. What can I
that's-
do for you?
But to compensate for your time and our lack of patronage, I am Ark Carl of Misty Rapids. These are men of Thornwood, and we come here at the blessing of your Baroness.
Yes.
We are seeking a woman, a wanted woman.
Aren't we all?
Very, I chuckle. Very beautiful, stunning.
I know the one you speak of. She was here last night. Gorgeous woman.
As we suspected. About what time was this?
Oh. 5 hours after sundown or so.
And she purchased a room?
No,
But
no,
didn't-
a young man came in with her. A young noble. He purchased a room for her, but when he went to check on her, she was gone.
Which room was it? Can you show it to me? Is there someone there now?
No, it's empty. He leads you to the room. It's just a kind of small podunk room. It's actually 2 rooms over from where you had yours the other night.
Okay. What does it have? Where does the window look?
It looks out into the street.
Yeah, so I think I go straight to the window and look out. The street, is it facing south or north?
The
or?
street is facing south
Okay. So it's got a view of the...
of the Crown Rose.
Okay.
Strange business. Strange travelers these days.
Yes, indeed. Say, looking pensively out the window.
First, those 3 cautious peasants who wouldn't even leave the inn. Then this beautiful woman. Now you guys. It's been a busy week.
3 peasants.
Aye. Travelers from afar. They had a strange accent. They came with a cart, and then they just stayed here at the inn. They didn't go anywhere or do anything.
A
Just
grin
stayed and
comes
drank
across.
and ate and...
Where's the cart?
Oh, they left yesterday.
Did they say where to? They wouldn't.
They had a thick accent.
Come. Sticks. Let's see if we can find the tracks. And I think we go rushing downstairs to see if we can find any traces of the cart.
Northern accent! Northern! He calls out to you.
Yeah. I know what accent. Okay.
So you head outside.
Yeah, and we see if we can find any sign of the cart.
Yep. The innkeeper comes out with you and points to where the cart was. There's some deep wagon ruts. Really deep wagon ruts in the soft dirt nearby.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah, and so I think I just look badass while the The ranger tries to.
He smells
Yes.
it. He tastes the mud a little bit, rubs it in his nose. It's them, all right.
Got the scent.
These tracks are deep enough. This wagon must have been very heavy indeed to make tracks this deep. Perhaps filled with earth.
Yes. Wood and earth. Which way does it go? Or is this the way in?
He begins to follow it and quickly starts running down the street holding a lantern
Okay.
to show the path.
I follow after. Our horses are stabled at the keep right now.
Yes. No, I think you probably took them with you. No, yeah, they're stabled because you don't have a horse.
I could have summoned a horse.
Right. All right.
So it would have taken some time. I could have borrowed one of the riding horses.
Sure. He follows
Or
the
one of
tracks
pack
as they
horses. we
lead.
are mounted.
They not yet. The tracks lead
We
north
have-
of town.
But we have the pack horses with us.
Yes. Well, they're all the horses are at the keep.
Okay. As they say they've got to go get the horses, then I will conjure memorize and summon. So I'll take a half an hour to get my steed ready.
Sure.
While so I say at the river, I say stop and grab me here, or I guess I'll meet you at the north gate once you've gotten your horses.
Sure.
Or yeah.
So there's no real gate out of town, but these tracks do lead north out of town, just kind of into the wilds up there.
Okay. Awesome. So we do have a trail.
Yes.
Yeah. So it'll take me a half hour to rememorize. Oh no, yeah, 40 minutes actually, to memorize Phantom Steed and then cast it.
Okay.
Although I could just hop on a riding horse with them, or one of our spare riding horses.
The riding horses are laden with supplies, and they have pack saddles instead of riding saddles, so they're not
But
really
how-
rideable. But if you ask the Baroness politely, she might lend you one.
I don't think it'll say how far of a walk was it up the hill to the keep where the horses are, and then how long does it take?
Like 10 minutes, whatever.
10 minutes, and then
It would
10
save
minutes to get
you
the horses
20
ready.
minutes of time. Yeah, they'd probably have to saddle the horse. Well, all the horses have to be saddled. You'll
Yeah.
probably be saving like 5 minutes by going with them.
Yeah, maybe 10.
Yeah.
I mean, so I tell them to like meet me at the north gate, and I like go through the process of summoning my Phantom Steed. Actually, I guess I sit down right there, and then I sit down in like the common room of the inn, quickly memorize the spell.
All right. Half an hour, 45 minutes later, you guys are all gathering where these tracks leave town and just kind of head out into the open wilds. It is dark. There's no moon tonight. Well, there's a couple nights after the new moon. No, full moon party. I have to take it back. The moon is bright, shedding quite a lot of light. The stars are up. It is mid-spring, maybe even late spring now. Yeah, late spring. The first day of summer is actually just a month away. So lots of stars in the sky. And yeah, there's your trail. It leads out into the plains.
What time is it? What time is it?
It's like 12. It's middle of the night.
God, I had said we should stay in the safety of town until night, but I think we're just following the trail. I don't speak up my words of doubt. Let me know if either of my companions has any fuss. I think we're just riding the adrenaline rush
Okay.
and hot on this trail.
All right. So you guys mount up, your pack animals in tow, and head out into the night, looking for Lady Annabelle Redshield the vampire.
I'll let it be known I would prefer to deal with her during the day, but we've got a fresh trail. Well, no, not even. This is probably like 12 hours old, isn't it? Or does he say how old it is?
He
Does the
said they
ranger?
left in the morning, so 12, 15,
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that.
So it's not a fresh trail. With any luck, we'll probably follow them all night and meet up with them as they're going to ground. Because I think tracking, we move at like a third movement.
Yeah. You move a little bit more slowly when you're tracking, but I think in the case of a wagon trail, it's going to be pretty beeliney, and the ranger can kind of like ride ahead, and then or you guys can like gallop and stop and look. Oh yeah, we're still on the right track, and gallop and stop and look. So I think you could probably move at near standard movement rate. for this particular instance of tracking. But let's take our break, and we'll see you guys on the other side. Bye-bye.